My 24th thesis statement is that integration involves neurobiological structures. Parts of consciousness do not integrate. While neural wiring may achieve some level of integration, parts of consciousness simply come home. They come home to each other and they come home to the present moment. The left and the right brain hemisphere might integrate. Different energetic regions of the autonomic nervous system might achieve integration. Neural data from childhood may achieve integration with neural data from adulthood. This is all neurobiological wiring, though. These are all particulars throughout our brain and our body. Aspects of consciousness are a completely different and distinct energetic essence. Parts of consciousness do not integrate. While neural wiring integrates, parts of consciousness simply come home. As neural wiring achieves integration, parts of consciousness might be able to spend more time together, coming home to each other and to the present moment. Integration ranges along a spectrum from passive to active. An example of passive integration is laying in a savasana yoga pose at the end of a practice, or in corpse pose. As you lay there and you just stay in stillness, the brain and the body are given an opportunity to integrate any energies that came up during the yoga practice. So laying in savasana pose, where you're literally just laying there and focusing on loving presence as you notice your own breathing as you're laying in a very still posture on the ground, that's an example of passive integration. You're basically just creating space for the brain and the body to play catch up, basically. So that's a form of passive integration. Active integration is much more aggressive and intentional. And examples of that include mirror treatments to connect brain hemispheres. For example, the healing practitioner might place a mirror on one side of the body, and the person's looking in the mirror, and they see the reflection of this hand in the mirror while this hand is behind the mirror and you can't directly see it. And then the healing practitioner applies certain practices and it plays tricks on the brain to manually connect the brain hemispheres. Another example of active integration is EMDR, where you're very intentionally going into certain regions of neural data with the intention of rewiring that information. So mirror treatments to heal brain hemispheres or EMDR to heal disintegrated memory data are examples of active integration. So styles of integration range along a spectrum from passive to active, and there's a whole bunch of different approaches and practices that can encourage integration. During this process, parts of consciousness may experience healing homecomings, but aspects of self do not integrate. Only neural wiring and brain-body activity integrates. Imagine a neighborhood and there's all these different houses, and in each house there are different persons who have their own personal experiences. You can think of this as the neighborhood of the social engagement system within our neurobiological applications of consciousness. If these different roles within neural data do not have instinctive abilities for connection, communication, and collaboration, then there's different people living in different houses in one neighborhood, and there's no connection. These people are here living their life, these people are here living their life, these people are here living their life. They're all in one neighborhood, but they're having their own unique personal experiences in different houses. They have to very intentionally go out of their house, down the street, and knock on a door just to have the chance to possibly, potentially, maybe connect with this other person or another aspect of consciousness within a different social engagement role within the neurobiological wiring. Integration is basically a process of building bridges between all of these houses. or encouraging neural connectivity within implicit wiring of memory systems filed in relation to attachment needs and brain-body operations of instinctive regulation. And so you go and you remodel this neighborhood so that this house now connects with this house, and this house now connects with this house, and it's still one neighborhood, and it's still all these distinct house structures, and there's still all the exact same people living in the houses. And so the core of what is has not changed. You didn't demolish the neighborhood and rebuild it. You didn't get rid of some of the people and move some of them out and move new ones in. You didn't destroy a house and build a new one. You took what was there and you just encouraged connections between the houses. So now all of these people live in one house, live in one structure of the social engagement system, or all aspects of consciousness experience the same styles of neurobiological activity, interpreting reality in different ways, instead of different parts of consciousness experiencing different regions of this neural data. And so the neighborhood's still there, the houses are still there, the people are still there, it's still the same space. There's just more connection. So in this process, the people did not change. That's the important part. The parts of consciousness did not have to change who they were. Healing is never about changing who we are. It's simply about becoming more of who we truly are. The process of integration is all about encouraging neural connectivity. Then parts of consciousness might experience healing homecomings, where they're able to connect and communicate and collaborate with one another more effectively and come home to each other with love and to the present moment with a deeper ability to experience the power of the now. For example, I used to experience life through alternate states of consciousness or distinct inner persons. I now experience life through one fluid state of consciousness. My parts of consciousness didn't integrate, though. My parts of consciousness are the exact same parts of my self-essence that they've always been. My neural data, however, did achieve integration. Different regions of neural wiring from different years of life, affiliated with different roles within the social engagement system, achieved integrative connectivity. So now my parts of consciousness have a lot more opportunity to spend time together rather than experiencing life through independent regions of neural wiring. While my neurobiological structures achieved integration, my parts of consciousness were just welcomed home. During any type of healing journey through life, parts of consciousness strive to experience healing homecomings, expanding loving presence, coming home to each other and to the current moment of experience. That reality is distinct from healing neural data, because our neurobiological wiring and our parts of consciousness are not the same thing. The people living in the house are not the same thing. They're two distinct components of the human experience who have a relationship with one another. Parts of consciousness don't integrate, they just come home. Neural wiring is what can achieve integration. And the more we expand integration of neural connectivity, when we encourage the left and right brain hemisphere to communicate, when we encourage the forebrain and the hindbrain to communicate, when we encourage different nervous systems to communicate, when we encourage neural data from childhood to communicate with neural data from adulthood, etc., then parts of consciousness might experience more healing homecomings, because parts are experiencing projections from the neural activity. This distinction is extraordinarily powerful. Consciousness is already whole, already perfect, Consciousness doesn't need to change anything about itself. Healing doesn't mean changing who we are. Healing just means becoming more of who we truly are. The depths of healing transformation take place within the neural structures. Addressing this wiring of the brain-body system is where integration takes place. Neural wiring integrates. Parts of consciousness just come home to loving presence. My 24th thesis statement is that while neurobiological structures experience integration through expanded neural connectivity and increased regulation, parts of consciousness simply experience healing homecomings. Aspects of consciousness are distinct from brain-body operations. Brain-body activity integrates, parts just come home.